Bill from Durham next. Hi, Bill.
Sorry, can I just put in there and say
wait a
something
minute.
else?
Hold on, Bill.
I have a question for you, right? You know, I once played under Alex Ferguson.
Is that the game that you got munched in as well? Somebody came up...
Hey, no, drop it now. That's your card's being marked. I don't like that. No, they brought a
Somebody came up and clumped you around the back of the head.
No, they didn't. Don't start. This is another program. They You've got connections. Stop it.
He's trying to wag his finger
They brought a selection over, an English selection to play in our selection, and George Best was one of the members, and I think he didn't play anyway, and I was his replacement.
And you got clumped in that game, and you turned around and no one would admit it.
Who's on the line?
It's Bill from Durham. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Right.
Hi, Steve.
Sorry about that, Bill.
Hi, Steve.
Okay.
Steve, who would you say is a potential threat to your title now?
Sometimes I think my biggest threat is myself. As I said before, my last fight, you know, I walked out, I think the guy knocked me over in the first 15 seconds. Here's a guy who shouldn't be in my class yet. The guy, you know, caught me cold. The reason this can happen is because I sometimes fight guys who I think, you know, they're nowhere near my class. I'll beat them easy, and therefore you don't go in with the same attitude. That's why I thrive on the challenge. I thrive in the fights where the guys are so superior or so great that if I'm not at my best or 110%, I won't win. So therefore the biggest threat to me would be me not being ready for a fight, and that can happen against opponents who haven't got the reputation that the Roy Jones have, or the Frankie Lyles have, or the Michael Waxky have, you know. Yeah. That's what I'd say. But another answer to that question would be, of course, Roy Jones, Frankie Lyles, and the light heavyweight champion.
Look, how long does it take to get mentally fit for a fight? Because we know that obviously you start training months and months beforehand to be physically fit. How long does it take to lock in mentally?
It's when I walk away from my house, close my hall door, and leave my family behind, that's when it starts for me. So for the next 7 weeks, 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks from that point onwards, I'm building myself up by getting fitter and getting more determined. So it's mentally and physically, I just get stronger. And by the time the fight comes around, I'm usually peaked, and it's, you know, it comes to a head. Then I'm ready, as I believe my mind and body's ready, and the fight's over. Then I walk away from it. It's dead. It's a great feeling to fight and walk away healthy.
See, this is it. When I was listening to you earlier, and you said it's like a split personality of when you're in the ring, and then you do have that, you know, it's just like an animal instinct, isn't it, when you're fighting?
Yeah, definitely. It's sometimes it's. I've had experience where I've fought guys in the past, and I have really gone out into that ring with seriously bad intentions. As I said, you know, in the ring, you think that way. You want to, as Eubank said, some people want to kill, right? I've gone into that ring with seriously bad intentions, and the fight's over, and that state of mind is gone. You're a different person. You're your normal self again. I've had social nights with some of my opponents, and I've sat there as close as I am to you and had conversations with them, and looked at them and said, I have so much in common with this guy. This guy could be my best friend. I really like him. It's scary to think what I wanted to do to him 2 hours earlier.
Could you sit down with a pint for a pint with Chris Eubank?
Could I what?
Could you sit down for a pint with Chris Eubank?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Oh, and I'd pay for it because thanks to him I can afford it now.
So, even though you say, like after
did you hear that laugh in the background?
I can hear it, yeah. Even though you say that after the fight, that's it, you can close the door, walk away.
Well, I did go to Chris Eubank, you know, after the fight and said, bygones be bygones, let's drop it, mate, and I won't repeat what he said, but he didn't reach out to shake my hand, so that's not my problem.
You said that, you know, that's what the referee's for, that's what the guy in the middle is for, to break it up. But when you've got that animal instinct, when you've got the guy on the ropes and you're ready to go in for the kill, excuse the, you know, not literally, and the referee breaks it up, how can you go from that total mental attitude to some guy coming in and saying, well, is it the euphoria of, right, well, I've won this now? How do you just stop
it's not blind, it's controlled. If you're blind, you've lost it. It's controlled aggression. It's controlled venom, whatever. It's controlled. That's the difference. Control is the key word.
Right. Okay. Bill, thank you very
much
for your call.
I've got lots of answers.
Our next
Thanks,
caller
Bill.
is Toby from Crewe. Hello, Toby.
Hiya, I just had to ask Steve a couple of questions quickly.
Fire away.
Was the hypnosis factor in the first fight the only way you could beat Chris Eubank?
No, but it helped. I mean, what helped me win that fight was, number one, was the experience I had throughout my boxing career, my basic talent as a, you know, my strength as a basic talent as a fighter, the hypnosis, my everything. It all adds up. You understand? It all adds up. You know, it did help me. I scared him in the first fight. He wasn't, say, 100% because of the hypnosis element we threw into it. It frightened him. But that's fair enough.
Are you taking the piss?
So, no, excuse me, hang on. Your language.
Well, as you said,
But,
it's gone midnight.
well, anyway, to answer your question, so I said, fair enough. I said, people will say, you know, Chris Eubank wasn't in the right state of mind. Collins brought in this thing and caught him off guard and scared him. I said, fair enough. Let's give him a second chance. So I gave him the second chance. I beat him more convincingly in the second fight. So what was the excuse for the second fight? And there's none. I think the fact is, you know, on those 2 nights, I was a better fighter than Chris Eubank. I can never say I'm a better fighter than anybody, but at those times I beat my opponents. At that time I was a better fighter. And on those 2 occasions I was a better fighter.
All right.
Thank you very much for your call there. Didn't Toby have another couple of questions? He said a couple there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to add to what you were saying that if there was a third fight, I think Chris would actually beat Steve quite easily.
Well, that's fair enough, Toby. I mean, you're probably sitting there beside Chris and you're probably getting paid to make this phone call. But
I wish I was.
But listen, when that fight does come off, Chris, every penny you have, you bring it to me and I'll do a bet with you. Because I'd love to take your money off you.
Why do you think Eubank would win it then, Toby?
I just fancy that, like you said, he was knackered after the Big Sky deal, and he's well rested and he's more determined to get back his media platform and whatever. I think he would beat Steve.
I think 6 months from the first fight to the second fight was a fairly good lie-on though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think if I had a hangover 6 months, but definitely I'd be well rested after 6 months.
Right, so
You want to come out with me, my pals, then.
it'd be nice to see that.
All right, thanks for your call, Toby.
I wonder if Toby would come in live to the studio and say, I think he'd have you, mate.
He didn't
he'd have you.
There's confidence. Did he accept it? He didn't say he'd put his money up, did he?
No, maybe not. All right.
No, obviously not.
Thanks very much, Toby. All right, we've got time to cram in one more. Jim from Doncaster. Hi, Jim.
Hello there.
Hi, what's your question for Steve?
Right, I'd just like to get away from the Eubank saga for a bit, because as far as I'm concerned, it's all done and dusted. Steve duffed him up twice, sorted him out, no contest. I'd like to ask what Steve thinks about the spate of basically overage boxers that are doing the rounds at the minute. I see this week Carlos Palomino has signed a £1 million free fight deal at the age of 48. You know, it's one of the greatest welterweight champions of all time. And I just think it is scary that they're letting a man like him fight.
It's very sad, but I mean, Carlos Palomino has a tragic story in his life as regards. I think he's from Nicaragua. I think he invested all his money back in Nicaragua when he was world champion, when he was financially secure. I think whatever went on there, a coup or political troubles, he lost all his money. So here's a man who's a great champion who has to come back living on his name, which 20 years ago, or you know, in the past, it was great. And he is coming back. Unfortunately, in certain states and certain countries in the world, they will allow him to come back. And I'm totally against it. Every time I see George Foreman fight, I cringe. I mean, he's a lovable character who doesn't need the money, whose faculties are still in order, who's quite an intelligent, articulate man. And every time I see him take punches from younger, stronger men, it scares me, because the man is middle-aged. He cannot recuperate like a younger person can. And I don't like it. I'm totally against it. I wish, you know, it would stop. Thank God it doesn't happen. I think there's obviously an age limit in Britain. It doesn't happen over here.
Do you know when you're going to stop?
Yeah, no, I don't. But I will know when it's time to get out. I'm very much in tune with my body and my state of mind. And I know if something's not right, for no other reason other than it's gone, then it's time for me to get out. If I wake up tomorrow and say I had enough, I'll get out. If I fight somebody who I should be able to beat and I'm prepared hard for it and it's just not there anymore, I'll get out. Or if somebody who I think, you know, for my sake, not for their sake, tells me it's time to get out, that's when I'll get out. But right now, that's not the situation.
Right.
Okay, well, thanks so much for all your calls, and thanks so much for coming in, Steve. Just finally, Chris will be watching this, right?
Yeah.
Now you know that. Is there anything that you've just finally, just to sum up, anything you'd like to say to Chris?
Chris, I'd like to get to know him in a more social situation. I mean, I have great admiration for what he's done to boxing. He definitely helped boxing. You know, I'll agree with what he says. He did bring money into it. He was good for Sky TV. He was very good for me, because I got the chance to fight fighters like him. I wish there was more like him. I just, you know, I wish him lots of luck in life, and I think, you know, you've got a lot of things going for you outside of boxing, and appreciate them, move on, and don't become bitter, and don't let all the people who admire you and who have great, you know, admiration for you, don't turn them against you by doing things and saying things like you said last week. You know, improve yourself. Continue improving yourself. Don't take any steps back.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
I haven't got time to have a prepared statement. I came in here and
Oh, no?
it's all off the cuff,
All right.
you know.
We don't like prepared statements on this show. We like prepared. Thanks so much for coming in, Steve, again. It's
Cheers,
one of
thank
the
you.
reasons why I do this job and why sometimes I actually quite enjoy doing it.
Thanks